Hi everyone, I'm the Tax Pro. Today I'm going to talk to you about issuing credit memos within QuickBooks Online. This is the dashboard for QuickBooks Online for our demo company, ABC Creative. To navigate to the credit memo section, there's a couple of different ways we can navigate from here. One of the ways that you can navigate to the credit memo window from anywhere within QuickBooks Online is to just go to this plus create button. This plus create button and then go to credit memo. This will pop up the credit memo window like this. Now, sometimes when issuing a credit memo, I like to go into the actual customer file and view the actual customer balances because QuickBooks will kind of sometimes automatically apply a credit memo, and sometimes we need to delete that after it's been automatically applied. And I'll show you what that looks like and how QuickBooks does that here in a minute. But because of that, sometimes it's easiest to go to the My Apps section and then navigate to issuing the credit memo through here. Now, with the new update, we have sales and get paid split out now from the customer hub. It used to be that these lived together in the sales section of QuickBooks Online. That is not the case anymore. So now, credit memo is going to live in the customer hub section. So what we'll do is we'll navigate to customer hub and then we'll find the customer in the customers section. So I'm going to give Alfred here a credit memo. So I'm going to click into Alfred's account and you'll see that right now his open balance is $11,000. He has no overdue payments because nothing has come due yet. But his open balance is $11,000. Now, a credit memo is going to take this open balance down, okay? It is going to reduce the $11,000 by the amount of the credit memo. So it is going to show that overall he owes less money. You'll notice that he has 2 invoices that are currently open and pending payment, total of $11,000. Now, when we issue a credit memo, it can be for a number of reasons. It may be that we sent inventory and maybe that inventory was broken or something happened with it and we need to issue a credit to this client. In order to do that, we're going to go up here to New Transaction and hit Credit Memo. Now, because we're in Alfred's account, it's going to automatically generate Alfred as a customer, whereas if we went from the plus create button, it would just give us a blank customer section and we would have to look that customer up. But that's really going to be the only difference here, except when we close out, we're going to see Alfred's account. So we have our customer Alfred. It will pull in the billing address if there is one, and then we can add the email. If one doesn't populate, it'll populate if it's in there. If it's not in there, it won't populate. We can have the credit memo date here, and then QuickBooks will sequentially number the credit memos. You can change this credit memo number if you would like. So it doesn't have to live at this 1016, okay? You can change that. Now, filling out the credit memo, we are going to go in. It's very similar to filling out an invoice. You're going to have the service date if you want to include that. You're going to have your product and service. Let's say that we're refunding him the custom turtle piece. Maybe it came broken, okay, and we didn't package it properly, and we have a guarantee. And so you don't have to put the service date. I'm not going to. You can put the product, or you have to put the product and service in order to know what account it's going to go to. And then you can put the description. The description is going to tie to that particular line item. So if you have multiple line items, just make sure that your description isn't for the whole entire credit memo. It's only for that particular line item. So I'm going to put, broken in transit, guarantee honored, or something along those lines, okay? And so I'm going to give them a credit for the full custom turtle piece, and then maybe I'm going to give them, a credit for some turtle keychains, and I'm going to say missing 2 keychains from the order. So he's going to get a credit for 2 of these keychains, and he's going to get a credit for this custom turtle piece. So each of these descriptions is going to tie into those line items. However, I can also put a message on the credit memo that's going to go with the whole entire credit memo. So if I put something here, I could say, per conversation with Kim, custom piece broken, and 2 keychains missing. So this is going to give detail on that particular credit memo of what this credit memo is for. You can leave this blank, you can leave the description blank, you don't have to fill this in, okay? Now, underneath the message displayed on the credit memo is a section for the message displayed on the statement. This is going to be different. This will not live and be displayed on the credit memo. This would just be for the statement. So if we send this customer like a monthly statement, they would see this next to the credit memo, because on the statement, it's not going to have all of these particular line items, okay? The customer's not going to see all these line items on their monthly statement. It's going to have all their invoices and credit memos listed. So there's not enough room for all of these, because some companies have customers with really long invoices or really long credits, and to list all of that on a statement would be a lot. So we can put a different message on the statement. So we could maybe put broken custom piece and missing 2 keychains. So we could put that there, and that's going to live on their credit or on their statement when they get it. So both of these are client facing. We can add some attachments. Maybe we have pictures of that broken turtle piece. So we can add attachments to this particular credit memo if we want to. Now, when we preview it, this is what it's going to look like. It is going to look like this credit memo right here. So you'll notice we have our information, the company, we have the credit to customer, we have the credit number, we have the date, and then we have these particular line items. So notice the description is tied to that particular line item. And then our actual message on the credit memo is right here, okay? That message on the statement is not here. Now, I want to point out something really quick. Alfred had a balance of $11,000 on his account. QuickBooks has now saved this credit memo when we previewed it, and QuickBooks has automatically applied this credit for us, okay? It is trying to be helpful, but sometimes that's not super helpful. So if we X out of this and we come up here, you're going to notice that it is saying, hey, this credit memo was paid. Like this was paid to a invoice, and QuickBooks did that for us. So if we save and close and we go back to Alfred's account, you can see where that's happened. And this isn't always helpful, so I want to make sure you realize what it's doing and then how we can kind of reverse that. So a couple things to notice in Alfred's account. One, his open balance has been modified. This is not because the credit memo has been applied. This is because the credit memo exists, okay? So even once we remove the application of that credit memo to an invoice, the open balance will remain the same. What's going to change, though, is you'll notice that this invoice, it was sitting as completely open and completely due when we first started this video, and now it's saying that it's partially paid. And you'll see this credit memo right here, it's saying it's been applied, okay? So QuickBooks is telling us, hey, we've applied this credit memo, it's already been applied, and we can see where it's been applied. It was applied through this payment right here. So created by QuickBooks Online to link credits to charges, okay? We can delete this. So if we delete this right here, you will notice a couple of things happen. One, this invoice is no longer showing as partially paid. It is showing as completely open again. Two, our credit memo is still here, but it's showing that it has been unapplied. Okay, so this is not applied to any sort of invoice. Three, our open balance remains the same because $11,000 less this credit memo means that overall Alfred owes us $9,680. Okay? So that's the way credit memos work. Make sure that you're careful that QuickBooks Online doesn't just automatically apply the credit memo. Sometimes you'll have customers that want to be able to apply credit memos to particular invoices, and this might not work for your business model. So just be aware that QuickBooks Online does it to help you. Sometimes it's not super helpful. Okay, so that's how you apply a credit memo. If you have any questions, please let me know. If this was helpful, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you guys next time.